Good day, everyone. I am Marie Emma B. de la Cruz, and my topic for today is about upskilling of teachers for flexible modalities. But before I dig in deeper to the topic, let me walk you through some ideas about the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, or the PPST. In line with the new professional standards for teachers, the Department of Education, through the Teacher Education Council, issued the DepEd Order Number 42 Series of 2017 entitled National Adoption and Implementation of the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. The Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers defines teacher quality in the Philippines. The standards describe the expectations of teachers' increasing levels of knowledge, practice, and professional engagement. This shall be used also as a basis for all learning and development programs for teachers to ensure that they are properly equipped to effectively implement the K-12 program. There are actually 7 domains that are required for teachers to be effective in the 21st century, and here they are. The first one is content knowledge and pedagogy. Second, learning environment. Third, diversity of learners. Fourth, curriculum and planning. Fifth, assessment and reporting. Sixth, community linkages and professional engagement. Seventh, personal growth and professional development. Out of these 7 domains, I would like to highlight Domain 7, which is all about teachers' personal growth and professional development. Theoretically, our teachers have been trained with some of the aforementioned domains, but in this pandemic time that everything shifted to online and teachers' mental health is at stake, I would like to give emphasis on upskilling teachers in terms of self-care, which falls under Domain 7. Teacher self-care is often overlooked, but it shouldn't be. Teaching is undoubtedly one of the most difficult professions, especially now that teachers are into different modalities of teaching. From designing effective lesson plans and engaging the entire virtual classroom and staying up to date with professional development, life as a teacher is exhausting. And with the recent push toward remote learning, the distinction between work and home has collapsed, making teaching an even more challenging and exhausting profession. Therefore, developing a proper self care routine is extremely important for teachers navigating the complexities of the education world today. In relation to that, I am here to discuss 2 important points, which are the importance of teacher self care and some practical tips or ideas on how to practice self care. So, why does teacher self care really matter? So, the first reason is, as the cliche goes, you must care for yourself before you can care for others. Surely this phrase has been used so many times that it probably lost its potency. But a cliche is a cliche for a reason. And in order to cultivate an external garden, one must first cultivate the garden of self. An effective classroom stems from an effective educator. And if that educator is neglecting self care, then the classroom is likely following suit. Second, self care allows for greater productivity. Adequate rest, exercise, and other modes of self care allow you to pause, recollect, and recharge, which in turn strengthens your own productivity. Teaching at times is such a chaotic profession that it can sometimes lead to burnout. Indeed, teacher burnout statistics are disheartening, with 40 to 50% of teachers leaving the profession within the first 5 years. Self care can help you avoid hitting that impasse, and through moments of rest, activity, reflection, and rejuvenation, self care ultimately functions to make you more productive in your daily routine. Third importance, Maintaining a regular self care routine can help reduce bad habits, meaning to say, planning and sticking to a self care routine forces you to focus on positive behaviors and repeatedly engage in activities that promote a healthy rather than detrimental lifestyle. So, when self care and positive health becomes daily routine, it becomes easier to defeat habits you'd much rather live without. So, the ultimate goal is to make self care an automatic reflex or something that would just come out naturally. Fourth, self care can help you recognize and achieve your goals. I believe everyone has his or her own goals. Okay. So, by strengthening your physical and mental health, your goals become more discernible and more accessible. For instance, self care activities like treating yourself with your favorite food, shopping online, watching your favorite movie at home with your family, taking relaxing baths can actually reward you. And within that time and space to think, it becomes easier to recognize your goals and begin thinking of ways to achieve them. And lastly, self care can actually take you outside of yourself. So it can also force you to recognize that not everything is on you, that many of the world's ills and difficulties surrounding teaching lie outside of your own control. Ironically, and this is the beauty about self care, it says the more you better yourself through self care, the more you can begin to turn attention towards others. And we have here some ideas for practicing self care. The first one is set and maintain boundaries. So, dealing with changes to routines and schedules can be challenging. Working from home can blur the lines of when the workday starts and ends. Therefore, we must determine a schedule that takes into account a start time and an end time, including your self care practices and breaks. Teachers can actually use visual schedules and graphic organizers to organize information. For example, when then sentences can help set and maintain boundaries. You might write, when it is 10 a.m., then I take a 5 minute break or a coffee break. Things like that. Post your when then sentences near your workstation as a visual reminder of your self care practice. Next, reflect on your feelings and needs. It is important to recognize and name your emotions. When you are aware of a new feeling, take a moment to reflect. Name the feeling and why you may be feeling that way. Think about what you might need at the moment and in the future. For example, you might say, I'm feeling overwhelmed because most of my students are having a hard time to pick up a particular lesson. I need a 5 minute break. Then I need to write down my questions and identify a person on my team to problem solve with. Next, recognize what is and isn't in your control. So, with a rapidly changing world and sudden shifts in how you teach, it can seem like there are more questions than answers. And one way to gain perspective is to recognize what is within your control and what isn't. Of course, for things which are within our control, we can do something about it. But for things which are not within our control, we should leave that to the one above who is in control of everything. Next, acknowledge moments of joy or gratitude. Look for moments of joy and connection and hold on to them. So you may write or you may try writing down some humorous moments, something that made you smile or something you're thankful for. You can jot them down on a note and put near your workstation. You can also share these moments with your students and ask them to share their own. So, for sure, this will have a positive impact to you and your students. And lastly, use self care routines throughout the day. So, it is very important to look for small ways to take care of yourself throughout the day. And in conclusion, No matter which self care practices you choose, remember to use them throughout the day. Stop to reflect your feelings when you're upset. Pay attention to self talk at times. And lastly, remind yourself what is only within your control when you are anxious. So, these are just some of the things we can do to take care of ourselves the way we want our students to be taken care of. Thank you for listening and have a good day ahead.